Hello my friends and everywhere. Today we are going to talk about how to adjust valves. First of all, we have to know the direction, turning direction of the engine. Look here, we have to look to the, we have to discover the direction of the turning of the engine. How, in the right or left? This is exhaust valve. Exhaust valve, this is intake, because this valve is beside the exhaust manifold, and this is the intake valve beside the intake. This is intake valve and intake manifold, but the exhaust beside the exhaust manifold. Sorry. When the exhaust valve go down, and then the intake go down, then the intake valves go down. That means we are in the right direction of the turning of the engine. Look here, the exhaust go down, and then the intake. If we make the opposite side, when the exhaust valves go down after the intake valve go up, that means this is the wrong direction. So because the strokes is suction, then compression, then power, then exhaust, then suction again. So we have to note the movement of the valve. Exhaust open, then the intake open. This is overlap. Overlap is important point to discover where we are. That means you can see here, this is the intake valves, and this is exhaust. When the intake valves it's open, we cannot discover which stroke we are. Why? Because the intake valves opens in the exhaust valve, and the exhaust stroke, and the suction stroke, and the compression stroke. And also when the exhaust opened, we cannot discover which stroke we are, because the exhaust is open in the compression stroke, and the power stroke, sorry, in the power, then the exhaust, and in the suction stroke. The means both are open and closed in 3 strokes, so we cannot know where we are. But overlap can discover where we are, because because overlap it's the end of the exhaust and the start of the intake valve. That means we have to point. This point is overlap, so we can discover where the piston is. So we need the overlap point to help us to make the valve adjustment. This is important point. What we can discover where the piston in and which stroke we are. Overlap, that means in the beginning of the suction stroke. Here we talk the relation between the strokes and the valves. Here you can see here the valve again. We can see the relation between the valve, the opening, and the close the valve. Here you can see here the suction. This is a movement of the engine. This is one piston as a symbol for the other piston, all the other pistons. Here this is the intake. The air come here and go here when the valve is open. This is suction. The valve is open. The pressure here is above the inside pressure, so the air come down, come here, and then the valve is it's open. I will go close, compression, and then the power stroke, and then the exhaust stroke. You can see here. Wait, this is the exhaust stroke. Here this is now how to adjust the valve. Here how to adjust the valve. Here, this is exhaust, this is intake. We will adjust the valves by the method of the piston method. In this method, we make the piston itself. We have no relation. This is piston number 2. This is Deutz engine. So we will adjust this piston by make it overlap and then turn the engine 1 revolution. So we have to make first overlap and then make a turn the engine one revolution and adjust the valve. Here, this is exhaust. It's go up and then wait until the intake valve is will open, and this will be cleared by if you turn the push rod here, it cannot move. This means both valves are open, and if you enter a small filler in it between the valve and the rocker arm, it cannot move. So we make mark here and turn the engine 1 revolution, complete 1 revolution. Look here, one revolution. This is the mark, 1 revolution. 330 degree, 1 revolution. So the piston will be in the start of the power stroke. Look up. Look. This is the mark. If you enter the filler here, he can go in. The means you can adjust it, and the push rod is it's loose, and there are distance between the rocker arm and the valve itself. So first of all, we have tied the bolt here to make it tight to not vibrate the valve after turning. So it's important to turn according to the rule, the bolt here according to the rule, and then by ring wrench we can adjust. Put the filler here, put the frame, move by your hand. There is no relation between the left hand and right hand. Make the filler inside, move, and try to tight by screwdriver until it's this filler cannot move. When it's cannot move, we can lose a little. In this case, we lift the filler and tight by wrench, tight it by wrench well. It's easy operation, and then check it again. So same story will do. You have to do with the intake valve. So we finish the adjust the valve. This is the way this process can done by every piston. So after this, we have to put a clean oil between the rocker arm and the valve itself to avoid any friction at starting of the engine, and do not wait for the lubrication oil go up. So we have to put after adjustment, we have to put a clean oil, not used oil like this one. Okay, but this is for explanation only. So this is easy way by using filler. Here, this is a normal operation of the piston. A normal operation here. This is the piston. This is the intake. This is the exhaust. Look here. Look, this is intake. This is the exhaust valve. This is the air come from here. When the piston moves, the piston go down and the valve is open, so the air come from here until here. It will fill the chamber itself. This is during the suction stroke, and suction stroke fills the chamber, combustion chamber. As you know, the air will fill the any volume, whatever its amount. So the intake valve will be open also in suction stroke to let the piston collect the air and increase the amount of air. So because we need much amount of air, not a volume. Then the compression, make the piston go up and make a compression, and then exhaust, and then the power stroke. In the power stroke, you know, there are exhaust here, and has a kinetic energy. So after the piston finishes the effective stroke, effective power, when it's vertical in this shape, the exhaust valve will open. Why? We use the kinetic energy, for the exhaust to let the exhaust go out. This is operation. This means this is open in exhaust and suction and compression, and the exhaust will open in the power stroke, and the exhaust stroke, and the suction stroke. This means the piston, every piston move every stroke 180 degrees, but the valve itself, it's more 180 degrees. It's open. So we have to see the correct, the effect of the incorrect or bad adjustment of the valves for both. First we'll talk about the intake valves, when the valves is more or less. Here we assume this is the correct, but if the valve clearance is up, what will happen to the engine? In this case, the valve is more usual, or more than the catalog. So we can see here that means when the valve its clearance is more, that means the valve itself will open late, so it will make decrease in the air in the engine itself, because it will open late, and also the depths of the valve itself go down in the chamber will be less, so the the volume of air will be decreased. So will make when the air is less, it can make exhaust smoke, but when the valve is less, that means the clearance is less than usual, so you can see here the valve will be open earlier. That's okay. Maybe somebody say, okay, when it's open earlier, so there are much air will go in the beginning, right? But the mean is the air come here and come in the piston, so much air. Okay, nice go air, but the problem is the distance to lift the valve is equal to that will create when the clearance is small. This means the valve itself will go down much. This means when the piston go up to make a compression, the valve will be still open, so the piston will push the air outside the chamber, so the compression will be low. So the clearance is, if it's too much or less, it's bad. Will case a less of air, so both are bad. So we have to follow the catalog exactly, not more, not less. Second, if when the third case, when the valve itself is open too much, it's open for all the time. That means in this case, when it open, there is no compression here. When there are compression here, there are oil. The engine will move, so we'll push the air, the oil from here come up, and when it come here, it will go through the exhaust valve to the exhaust chamber, so will make a blue smoke, so it will be dangerous. But by the way, in here we have to difference between two things. When the engine the compression is bad, or there are beating or crack in the chamber or scratch, the oil come here and burn and go up. But in the case on this is still open forever, it will open at any time. That means the oil come here and to go down, and you can see when they run the engine that there are blue smoke. So we can think that there are no compression in the chamber. The engine need overhaul. Not true, because this is only the bed of adjustment, or the valve is open all the time. So we have to before deciding make overhaul, we have to check the valve clearance. If you see this is move or not, because you can see it move, but the valve is open forever, all the time, so it's important. Other things, when the valve is closed, the mean closed, the mean here there are a suction, and there is no leakage in the chamber. So when the piston go down, it will be suction, so it can make distortion for the connecting rod, or make warpage for the connecting rod, because the suction, when the piston go down, and there is no there is no leakage here, and the valve is closed. So it's very important to make adjustment of the valves. Valve clearance is very important, and you have to measure. So this is a great crime if you neglect adjustment of the valves. This is some trouble. So we have to adjust the valves in the intake. If the clearance is more or less, it will be bad. And it will make decrease of the amount of air go in the chamber. Second, if it's closed forever, the make warpage for the connecting rod. If it's open, if it will open all the time, that means there are oil come from here and go to a chamber, to the exhaust, through the exhaust, and make blue smoke. So it's important to adjust the air valves clearance. 4 cases. See, for the exhaust troubles, also same story, but it's different. How? By the way, you can see that we can make difference between the intake and the exhaust valve. The intake valve is wide, the disc is wide, it's bigger than the exhaust. This is intake and this is exhaust. And also the thickness of the exhaust is much than the thickness of the intake, because this is to bear, the exhaust is bigger, thickness is bigger to bear the temperature. Look here, when the valve is more or less. Here for the exhaust, look the movement here. When the clearance is much, then there are smoke here, because the exhaust valve will open late, so we cannot use the kinetic energy of the exhaust to go out, to let it go out, but it will be late there. So maybe some smoke come or carbon stay here. Also, when the clearance is too much, the depth of the valve itself inside is less, so the opening is small, so the hot gases will scratch the valve, and they can make cut for the disc of the valve itself, for the host. So it's very important to adjust 2 cases. The exhaust will be in, because the valve is it will be lit. Also, the exhaust will scratch the valve and make cut it. Also, when it's open, he can make the oil seal here hard, the oil seal, because it's a rubber, so he can spoil it, the oil seal here. The gases will, if it go up, it will hot the oil seal, the hot seal itself. So you can make it bad. So it's important to adjust. So this is a bad of the excessive clearance for the exhaust. Make carbon here, spoil the disc of the valve itself, and burn the oil seal here. So it's very important to good adjustment. Here the exhaust come here, this is the oil seal here, oil seal here, but the exhaust can passes for up. Okay, this is important. Three things. Some people think this is the only bad effect is the heating of the engine if the clearance is small, but if the clearance is bigger, is very bad also. Let us see when the valve is closed, is the clearance for the exhaust is small. In this case, this valve will go much in the heated zone here, so he will absorb heat and transfer it for cylinder head, so he can make the engine is hot. Also something also it's important thing, the valve itself, he take its cooling from the from contact with the valve seat, so when the clearance is small, it will make the engine is hot. So when the summary, that's when the clearance of the exhaust is small, the engine will be hot, and and engine is hot. When there will be much, will be also very bad. So it's important to adjust the valves as the catalog say. It's very important, and if you cancel it or